Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you're watching this. Not done one of these for a while, which I apologise for. So out and about for a few days, or a couple of days in a row. Yesterday I had an expert instruction in East London, and then a damp inspection on a construction site in East London, and then had to go up to the Bishop's Avenue for another damp inspection. None of those I could have videoed, but today I thought I'll see if I can. So a few bits and pieces out and about. So yeah, let's crack on. Early start as usual, down in from home in East Kent, pitch black, 6:30 in the morning. So yeah, first stop is South London, so off we go. So my first stop actually is fuel. Usual start of the day really when you're out and about. Okay, so I've arrived in Wandsworth. Some people have you believe this is a village. There are thousands of houses in Wandsworth. It is nothing like a village. Walthamstow village as well, apparently. Sun's right in my eyes. So what am I doing here? Client has bought a property that's had a loft conversion done, and it hasn't got any approvals. So as part of the mortgage offer, they want a chartered building surveyor to look at the structure of the loft to see that it's okay, basically. So let's have a look inside and see how we get on. The builder's opened up a couple of areas. One is the ceiling, so we have a few issues with this straight away, but I'll look at mainly the structure, and he's opened up some bits and pieces in here as well. So I'll probably do this with photos because it's going to be a bit too much otherwise. First up, I got the client's contractor to open up a couple of areas around the building so I could see what's going on. And here we can see the roof structure has been lined with pretty much 4 inches of mineral quilt, and the original rafters, nothing's been changed with those at all. So they do bear on both sides of the ridge. Actually, with the rafters, structurally, we don't have an issue with it. I do have a problem with the amount of insulations up there, but that's not a structural issue that the building society or lender are particularly concerned about. So rafters on this building are okay. Next, look at the ashlering. The ashlering is this stud wall that's sited between the bedroom and the eave storage. And what they've done is they've diverted the loads from the purlin down onto the floor joists. So again, this is not significantly an issue. Structurally, this is okay. They've lost any collar cross ties to the property, which does provide a bit of an issue. But in terms of the roof support through this ashlering, that's not too bad. Where we do start to get into problems is the floor. Now the floor measured, I managed to get a tape measure down between a gap. Actually I borrowed the carpenter's saw and I slid the saw down in the gap, marked it off and then measured it, and it was about 150 or so. So by the time I take off this 22mm chipboard that's been put over original floorboard that's been used upstairs, then take off the lip to the underside and a few other bits and pieces where I've measured round, it does work out that the floor joists are about 120 or so, so an old imperial size. They are significantly undersized, so that is going to be a problem. Okay then, so to recap, that was actually quite an interesting one. They've done this loft conversion and paid no attention to structural alterations at all. So this is the front load bearing wall, the centre load bearing wall, the rear load bearing wall, and these are the original 4x2 ceiling joists that have been retained as floor joists. So the original design requirement, well, not when this was built, but nowadays a ceiling has a design load of 0.25 kilonewtons per square metre. That's roughly 25 kilos, and it's for a little bit of light domestic storage. A floor load, current design, modern design, is 1.5 kilonewtons per square metre for domestic properties, so roughly 150 kilos, so 6 times the load. Now, the original roof, if you can imagine that the purlin is there, that's still the same, the purlin's still the same. That would have had struts down to the centre load bearing wall to divert a big portion of the roof load onto the centre load bearing wall. They're not there now. There's no collars, there's no struts. So, well, there is struts. The struts are now vertical onto the ceiling joists. Now, there's no evidence of any steel work or beefed up structure there whatsoever. So it looks like these struts are straight down onto the original ceiling joists. So not only are they not suitable for the floor loads that are now being imposed, but we've now got roof loads coming down as a point load not necessarily in the middle, but quite some distance from the load bearing point. So we've got bending on any beam, and if it's just a simply supported beam with no point loads, we're going to have this kind of pattern of bending. Now they've then put a point load where the maximum bending is going to occur pretty much. So this is really not good. Don't quite know how they're going to proceed with this, but anyway, I can only report on the structure and what I've been asked to do. In addition to this, we've got uninsulated, the insulation issues. This is fully insulated, there's no air gap at all. There's no insulation here, there's no insulation, there's a little bit of insulation in the floor, but again, nowhere near what's required. And the vendor's argument is, well, it's like that when we bought it, we got an indemnity policy. Well, all you're doing is kicking the can down the road, and those indemnity policies are a waste of money, because now someone's got to sort this, and it is going to cost thousands. Even if we were just looking at insulation problems, that's not so much of a problem, but we've got structural issues here that need to be resolved. There's no way this is suitable for a habitable bedroom, a habitable room, should I say. Right, it's all done down in sunny Wandsworth. It really is a glorious day today. It's 0 degrees on left home. It's about 4 or 5 now, but it's really sunny, as you can see coming through the dash. I'm now off up to Lord's Cricket Ground. Not actually the cricket ground, but a house quite near it. So I don't know how far it is from here. It's probably an hour and a half. Okay, just arrived in St John's Wood, just near the Oval Cricket Ground. A private gated development, no less. So these houses are worth a few quid. So see what we've got to see. I believe I'm actually doing this for a friend. No, not a friend. I'm doing a favour for a friend. It's this family member of his. So, so I don't even know I'm here to look at. I think it's a roof leak of some description, but we shall see. So on this property, it's relatively new. I think it's about 8 or 9 years old, and there's roof leaks all over the place. Probably about 4 or 5 different roof leaks coming through. Client's also not happy with the amount of staining at high level to the gable wall, as we can see in these photos, which is caused in part because this is on the north side of the building, so it just never sees the sunlight, and is also 225, so 1 solid brick thick above the habitable space in the building. And the inside, the south facing side, has been fully lined with the roof, so just no sun getting to the north side at all. As you can imagine, quite an expensive house, not very old roof that is leaking. Unhappy client, so we're going to look to see if there's any build warranty issues here that are going to kick in. So a few bits going on there. The house transpires that it was probably built originally in the 20s. It has that kind of 20s order to it. And other properties I've seen of a similar design of 20s, but this was completely knocked down and rebuilt 9 years ago. So yes, there's a lot of issues, but the fact it's so new, there's a possibility there's going to be some kind of warranty to go with it as well. So we need to work with the owners to find that out. Okay, so now what's next? I have to go down to near Harrods actually to do a damp inspection. It's a managing agent we do some work for. They have had a water ingress issue into a flat. They've said they've done all the works, they've renewed flashings in the roof, but the tenant says it's still wet. So it's a case of go down there and see if it's active wet or if it's drying out wet. So I'll probably have to do a couple of visits there, one now, one in a few months' time, carbide it both times and see if it's getting drier. So I had a good look around this one, and there's damp to the side wall of the building, concentrated really to this side, and is quite remote from where the agent said that the repairs were previously done. So had a good look around, and what seems to be is a couple of issues here. We have the weirdest roof and chimney design possible. The chimney rises above the flat roof and then is then corbelled over, and on the open side of that there's a slate covering to it. So that slate covering discharges water straight onto the outside of the wall, and guess where the damp is? Inside. Now, coupled with this, in these photos you might be able to make out that towards the property the walls have been repointed with a cement mortar pointing, and this is where the damp is. And to the outside, which is also getting run off from the chimney, it's lime mortar pointing. Now the pointing looks rough, but that's because it's lime mortar rather than the neat profiles of cement mortar. And guess which bit's dry? So a couple of issues. First is really proper guttering on that bit of roof to stop the water discharge onto the wall, and second is to rake all this mortar out and repoint with a suitable lime mortar. So complicated in some respects. Access is going to be a bit of a pig, but a relatively straightforward fix. Okay, 11 hours later, London and back. Traffic was a bit of a nightmare this morning and really bad this afternoon. I think it's because when I was coming through London round the A202 through Peckham out towards Lewisham, it was school throw out time, so it was really, really busy. Anyway, three jobs done today. I hope I've explained it as I've gone along. It's one thing I like about this job is the variety of it and the things we get to see. But a month or so ago, I just thought I'd share this with you. A month or so ago, I was looking at a property that had a reported leak. The landlord said he couldn't find a leak. He didn't know what the problem was, yet there's aluminium tape everywhere around the back of this loo, as you can see in these photos. So there's a few other issues with this property as well. So I'm there taking a look, and I've gone in the bathroom and look at these readings. They are really, really high. The air in the bathroom is absolutely saturated, and there's water all over the floor. And the client said, you know, I mop it up and it's there again. I mop it up. He said it's coming from under the toilet and it's just always there. The landlord's not fixed it. So I'm having a look around thinking, I think this is condensation. It's fully tiled. There's an isolator for an extractor fan outside the bathroom, but there's no extraction in the bathroom at all. Now, if I say it's condensation, he's going to say, you don't know what you're talking about, it's a load of rubbish. So what I did is got a bit of tissue paper and I wiped the mirror, which is known condensation. And I did a salts test on it, and you can see here, negative for nitrates, negative for chlorides, which is pure water. And the only two sources of pure water is rainfall and condensation. So then I've tested the water in the floor. It's come up exactly the same as this one, negative for both. And then belt and braces, I've tested the tap water, positive for chlorides and positive for nitrates as well, albeit in trace levels. So sometimes it's not the obvious, it's something that's completely different. For him, the obvious was it was a leak. For me, the obvious was this might be condensation. It's not good enough, I think, sometimes just to say it's ABC. You need to be able to prove it. Like a claim I had several years ago now. The client said he had damp issues. It was due to, I think he said, the rainwater goods or something like that. Had a surveyor around. The surveyor said it was condensation. He wanted to take action against the surveyor for negligence. We've done a full investigation, and I said to him afterwards, it's condensation. And before he had a chance to kick off, I've explained it, why and how it's all happening, and he was absolutely fine with it. The only difference between myself and the other surveyor, we both said it was condensation. The other surveyor said it's condensation, and that was end of conversation. I've said it's condensation and explained why, and he was happy with it. Anyway, thank you for getting this far. Day out and about. Not doing expert witness work for once, so I can actually get a few bits of it on film. If you like what we're doing or what I'm doing, please like and subscribe, and I shall see you on the next one. Thank you.